welcome to the first episode of Patches Town Talk. Today, we'll discuss the top stories from 2011, and later we'll talk to our guest, Police Chief Mike Murphy. First, I'd like to take a minute to acknowledge and thank our Person of the Year, Connor Doherty. Connor was nominated by a close family friend and won with 1,367 votes. Connor is a Lance Corporal in the United States Marine Corps and trained as a rifleman. He was deployed to Helmand Province, Afghanistan in March of 2011 and did not return home until last October. Congratulations, Connor, and thank you for your service. Now let's take a look at the top 5 articles from 2011. In no particular order, the first is Fox 25's Zip Trip, which came to town on June 17th. The live show was filmed at Ipswich River Park with Fox 25's Kim Kerrigan, Jean Levanchi, Doug V.B. Gowdy, and Cindy Fitzgibbon. Last year, Stop and Shop moved from one end of Route 28 to the other. The grocery store is now located at 265 Main Street, but the former Stop and Shop remains vacant. No one could forget the Sheila Marie Imports strike, which had the town talking for weeks. Last July 13th, Sheila Marie employees went on strike and were joined by up to 80 additional Teamsters at one time. The strike commanded a large police presence and lasted for 16 days. The Concord Street business is now closed. The Winter Hill bank robbery was big news for the town, which happened on April 9th. The FBI Bank Robbery Task Force worked with North Reading Police on the investigation, but no arrests have been made. The Secondary Schools Building Committee presented the concept for a new combined middle and high school at October town meeting. The SSBC estimated the cost would be just over $100 million. The plan includes additions and renovations to the current middle school and a new high school with shared core facilities. And now we're here with Police Chief Mike Murphy. Welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
So when did you first become a police officer?
I became a police officer in 1994. I was 28 years old and been on the force for 18 years now.
And where did you go to school before that?
I graduated from Wakefield High School. I grew up in Wakefield, and I went to college at Western New England College. I got my master's degree in criminal justice administration from there in 2001.
Was there a rank that you preferred?
Well, I was a patrolman for 3.5 years, and I became a detective. So during that time, I enjoyed both. I enjoyed the patrol work, gave me a lot of experience. I think detective position was most fulfilling for me because I was able to make a lot of contacts, meet a lot of people, and gain a lot of experience and skills that I needed to progress during my career into a sergeant position, which I attained in 2007. So, but I've enjoyed each rank. But I think detective position, I not only within the community itself, but outside the community, I got to investigate a lot of interesting crimes. Got to work with a lot of different agencies. So that probably was the most interesting, but fulfilling. I've loved all ranks, and now as the chief, ready to move on and take on that responsibility, and I'm sure I'll have many years of enjoyment as a chief as well.
I'm sure. And how did it feel when you heard you became police chief?
It was a lot of pride. Everything that I worked for was coming true. I was honored as well, but it was also humbling too, because it was, for me, it wasn't just about me, it was about the organization. So, I went and I called my wife, and then I also drove to my parents' house and told them. So, it was humbling, but I'm honored to be, appointed as a chief of police and excited about the future.
So you called your wife first when you got the
I
news?
did, yes, yeah. Of course, she didn't answer the phone. No. So it was her cell phone. She didn't answer it, and called her a few times because I wanted to tell her first. But I drove to my parents' house, and I actually sat out front trying to get in touch with my wife. So I finally did, and she was all excited. So, but I think her phone died, as the cell phone, she didn't charge it the night before. But anyways, everything worked out well, and then I let my parents call the rest of my family, and I called my kids afterwards.
As chief, what are your short and long-term goals?
Well, it's important for me to develop the officers that work for us. I need to foster a good working environment for them, and I need to provide the leadership necessary for them to provide the services to the community. So I'm looking at a lot of different things. I feel it's very important for me to involve the community as well, reaching out to community leaders, elected officials, people within the department and the community itself. I have a few programs that I'm going to be implementing in the next couple of months that will get the community involved a lot more. One of the programs was a community impact team that I've been researching and talking with other departments to see how they're doing it, similar programs. But it's an innovative program. It deals with the crimes that are more quality of life crimes. Not so much the robberies, the breaking and entering, everything else. It's the quality of life crimes, the drug abuse, the larcenies that occur within the homes themselves, but also car breaks and mailbox damage and the little things that we really just address and move on. I want to try to address those problems and get to what the symptoms are of the problems, not so much dealing with the problems afterwards. Try to eliminate them going forward. So we're developing a program now that's going to involve a lot of community involvement, where we would have do surveys, speak with people, hold meetings as well for the community to come in and give us information that they feel is most important to them. But as far as other goals that we have, one of the goals that I have as a priority personally and professionally is that, because I've seen the effects of drug abuse in town, it's important for us to really focus our efforts on minimizing the effects on this community with the drug abuse. So I've spoken with a few of our internal officers, and they're developing a program now to present to the community at some point in the near future. So it's a number one priority, not only of me, but the department, and it should be of the community as well. A lot of the goals and objectives that we have as a department complement each other, so that I don't say that there's one priority over another. But one of the other priorities that I do have is that provide leadership, but I develop the leaders throughout the department as well, because the officers that are out in the community are the ones that are the face of our organization. So it's important for me to develop them as leaders as well. A lot of them have innate characteristics that, they do have a lot of leadership abilities, but it can be learned as well. So I plan on developing that through some trainings in providing leadership within the department.
What do you think your biggest challenge will be as chief?
The biggest challenge, I have a lot of challenges, but I think the biggest challenge is being able to handle all the responsibilities within the budget. It's a challenge that I'm welcoming, but I also understand that there's a lot of people competing for the same funds. But we have issues in town that need to be addressed. Clearly it's a budget issue, but we need to address the problem. So it's going to be a challenge for me to find the ways to do that. That's not as impactful on our budget as if we had a critical incident where that's an automatic impact on our budget. So it's up to me to try to find ways to use the funds that we're allocated in the best possible ways to minimize all the crimes that occur in North Reading. But like I said, the drug problem is the number one priority right now, and our whole department is focusing their efforts towards that, as well as handling all our other responsibilities.
And so the community can get to know you a little bit better. What do you like to do in your spare time?
I love to cycle outdoor. I have a road bike, and I love to cycle. Good weather, get out there and try to do an hour a day at least, ride my bike, and I get to think a lot as I'm riding and get to see a lot of sights. I ride up in New Hampshire a lot as well, so I'd love to do that, and I love to read. In high school, I didn't like history, just one of those things I didn't. But now, as I start to get a little bit older, it's one of those things it's good for me to go back to where our country actually came from. So I read a lot of books on our leaders in this country that I felt were, or even other people felt as they were really impactful to the country. So I like to read a lot. Like to read a lot of sports. leaders as well, and try to take a little bit from that and use it in my professional life too. So those are the two biggest things, and I love spending time with my family too. It's the kids are still busy; they're getting older, but they have. It's important for me to be involved in what they have going on as well. So it takes up most of my time when I'm not working.
That's great. Thanks again for being here.
No
I'm sure
problem.
everyone loved hearing about it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations on becoming the new chief.
Thank you very much.
Now for the top 5 profiles of 2011. We reported on firefighter Herb Batchelder, who responded to Ground Zero. As a member of the Disaster Medical Assistance Team, he helped wounded firefighters, police, and others after 9/11. From sprained ankles and abrasions to eye flushing, he saw various injuries during the time he spent in New York. Firefighter Batchelder spent 3 to 4 weeks in the city and was moved by the gratitude shown by New York residents. After returning home for 2 weeks, he was asked to return to Ground Zero. Captain Don Statz and Captain Barry Galvin from the North Reading Fire Department reported with him. This time, the firefighters were their main focus. Next, we have residents Jeff Borkowski and Kara Antonacci, who worked with Guiding Eyes for the Blind to train a guide dog for a visually impaired person. Borkowski, a self-employed graphic designer, and Antonacci, a human resources executive, raised Maddox, an 18-month-old black lab. They spent 17 months training Maddox, then brought him back to Guiding Eyes for the Blind for his final round of training and introduction to a 20-year-old blind woman, Ana, from Lisbon, Portugal. If you are interested in volunteering, visit guidingeyes.org. We had to include Rita Mullen, 2009 North Reading Citizen of the Year. Resident since 1954, Rita has been civically active since she attended North Reading High School, where her legacy of volunteerism began. With a park named after her, Rita is a staple to this town. Moving on, Selectman Steve O'Leary has been at the heart of North Reading's development for decades. Selectman O'Leary has been politically active since his middle school student government days and has been on the Board of Selectmen for 23 years. On O'Leary's tenure, North Reading set a precedent to administer affordable housing developments, which stands as a source of pride for O'Leary. Last but certainly not least is high school senior Julie Bash. Julie is the president of the Northeastern Massachusetts Association of Student Councils, president of the North Reading High School Student Council, and secretary for her class. In addition to her many accomplishments, the 17-year-old is also a member of the National Honor Society and Student Leaders and Mentors. Thanks for watching North Reading Patch's new show, Town Talk. I'm Ashley Troutman with NORCAM. We look forward to seeing you next time.